What you're getting in this video is the exact Excel sheet that I use to keep track of my dailies. These are the daily action items that I take towards my goals, and they're measurable. We use numbers. Not only that, this Excel sheet has formulas already included in it for you. So I'll walk through it right now. I'm going to share my screen, and I want you guys to see this. If you're listening to me right now, thank you. But I have a YouTube video right now where I'm going to share my screen and show you guys how to do this for yourselves. And all this is for you, completely for free, so you can actually get your year off started on the right foot. So without further ado, let me share my screen and let's get into it. All right, so this is the daily action tracker sheet, okay? Or I call it my dailies. So before I get into it, I want to give full credit to Brian Lubin. So Brian Lubin, he's a really top voice in the real estate space and also just travel content. He runs a really successful podcast called the Action Academy. And one of my goals is to join Action Academy by this year. But Brian, in his book, which I read last year, includes a bunch of QR codes with a bunch of free assets. So one of those assets was this sheet, except that I tweaked it to make it more of my own and more suitable to me and my needs. So there is the credit, because I will never take credit for someone else's work, but the overwhelming amount of structure and skeleton of this sheet comes from Brian. So just want to pay my respects over to him. But let's get into it. Let's show you what makes this Mateo's sheet. Okay, so you'll notice right away that I start with the goal in mind, right? And there's different ways of writing goals, but there's this system that's been around for a long time called SMART goals, right? And one of the key parts of being a SMART goal is that it's measurable, right? You want to use numbers. So for instance, you have someone who says, I want to lose weight. And then you have another person who says, I want to lose 5 pounds of fat, right? The person who adds concrete metrics, like that second person, will get there much faster because they have a clearer path and they're using numbers. So it's not subjective anymore. It becomes objective. Okay. So keep that in mind when you craft your goals. Now you'll notice here as well, these check boxes. Okay. Now those goals will have 2, not 3, not 4, not 10, 2 daily action items that help you push towards that goal. Why 2? Because 2, first of all, you'll notice there are 5 goals here, and 2 times 5 is 10. So it makes it really easy for math terms when I'm adding up percentages. You can see, okay, if I want an 80% day and I want it to be lit up as green, then I need to do at least 8 of these dailies every day, right? So it makes the math easier. But also 2 is not overwhelming. You can do 2 things towards one goal, absolutely. But here's the main draw of having 2 is because it forces you to think in terms of leverage. You want to make these the most high leverage action items ever, right? What is leverage? Leverage is you have person A and you have person B. Person A puts in 1 hour of work a day towards a goal that they both want, right? But person B puts in 10 hours of work. If person A's 1 hour of work can accomplish the goal or even get more output than person B does with his 10 hours, then person A is more leveraged, right? So leverage is little inputs, large outputs, right? So having a solid network, for instance, massive leverage to build your social capital, right? Building your social capital is a super high leverage activity you can engage in, because then you get these connections, and it's much easier than just physically going out there and like trying to muscle your way through corporate ladders and social ladders. Like that's a much harder way to go. The higher leverage thing to do is just like be a genuine good person and connect, right? So same thing with this. So I want you to notice something as well. And this is the stuff that I changed to make it more suitable for me, is that I want to track this month over month. Okay. So you'll notice that it starts with B, goal B. That's so strange. Why would you do that? Because I actually wrote in an example, right? This literally comes from one of my goals. So you're getting an inside look here. I want to grow my influence on LinkedIn, which is where I get all my leads for my business, right? I run a B2B business, Veloxis. Okay. So if I want to get to 1,000 followers, I need to know where I'm at right now. So last month I was at 704 followers. All right. And I also need to measure the change. So that's a plus 45 in followership. Okay. Now, say I had lost followers for some reason, then I would make this red, right? To just show like, oh, sad boy hours. I'm going to listen to Drake, whatever, right? No, don't do that. I don't know why it's changing, but it would be red. Okay. And so that is one way you can visualize the changes in your month over month, which is very important. Now, you notice every single one of these action items have a number on it, right? So I need to make one post, right? And I need to leave 10 thoughtful comments. And it tells me exactly what. Like, so I need to leave 10 thoughtful comments on people who are already voices, already established, already have like a large traffic into their posts, so people could see my post and see my business. So this is LinkedIn. This is the Liam Motley's AI Automation Accelerator, other school groups, other Facebook groups. This is what I have to do. Now, here's the main thing, and this is what I started doing this the last like 4 months, and I noticed a big change. I used to just do this, right? Which is fine. You'll get far. But I also started to track how long it would take me. I started with how long I thought it would take me, and then I started tracking how much does it actually take me. So this, to reach this goal, my dailies, it takes 30 minutes a day. That's it, right? It's 10 minutes to like craft a post, and I already got really good at like making these posts. I use ChatGPT. I use a bunch of things to really like accelerate my output in that way. But it roughly takes like 10 minutes to like come up with a really good post, right? And this engagement here takes 20 minutes. So in aggregate, it's a 30-minute activity, right? And so once I do my post, look, it's the 1st of January, boom, and you'll notice 10% done. Percentage complete right there. That's done. Finish this, boom, done, right? And say I come up with another SMART goal here, right? I only do this one I only do this one, but this one I crush it, right? I'm at 60%. This one I crush it, boom, 80%. I have won the day, okay? Now, if you do the same thing with your full week, right? You're just crushing this week. This is amazing. Oh my gosh, how is he doing it? He's consistent, not intense. That's the other thing. This thing exercises your consistency muscle. Consistency beats intensity all the time, right? So the whole point is to be consistent. And so that's why these checkbox formulas work so well, because it's fun. I like it. But B, it forces you to win the week. Look at that. Look at all that green. Bah, bah, bah. Kasi, kasi, kasi. Boom, pow. Look at this absolutely beautiful. There it is. Boom. You won the week. Okay? So that's systems. That is the dailies. Okay? But I'm not going to stop there. I want these to be really short episodes. I drop these every single Wednesday for you. But I wanted to show you something that is a little bit one step ahead of this, because when you're doing this dailies, you tend to do it in the mornings and throughout the day, right? But something that I really want everyone to consider when they're starting these routines for the new year and such, let me blow that face up. Okay. Is the structure of your day. Okay. So I was listening to a podcast this morning by Dan Coe, the CoCast, and he's a brilliant entrepreneur, millionaire, everything, right? And he sets up the structure of his day in a very particular and intentional way that I've started to do in my last couple of months, and I've seen a massive difference. And if it's beneficial to me, it's probably beneficial to some of you. So let me just share that with you. So there are 4 C's, okay? In fact, no, I'm not going to pull up my notes. I probably have some client info on there. I'm not going to do that, but let me just show you, okay? There's 4 C's. Think of the structure of your day in this sequence, okay? First, you start with clear, right? You want to clear your mind. No inputs. Don't pick up your phone. And the best way to do this is to just walk outside, right? Especially if it's cold. People complain about the cold. It's really good, actually, if you walk out in some cold, just get some layers in. It'll wake you up. Okay, but you want to clear your mind, right? That's the first C. You want to clear, 0 inputs, and then get a journal and just brain dump, right? Just brain dump ideas. You want to clear your head, The second segment of your day should be consume. So it could be on the tail end of that walk. It could be when you get back to the office, whatever it is. You want to consume information. So podcast, self-education books, the courses you bought and forgot about, like those things, that's the time to consume, right? So the earlier part of your day, your brain is transitioning from alpha waves to theta waves, right? So you're in a hyper suggestive state, almost like a hypnotic state. So if you want to reprogram your mind, that's the time to do it. So that's why it's good to clear and then take advantage of those theta waves as well and consume, right? Now, the third C is to create. This is when you create content. This is when when you start writing. This is when you start speaking. This is when you start building. So right now it's still like pretty early in the morning and I'm recording this podcast, right? For everyone in January 1st, like this is when I'm in my creative flow state. This is my second work block, right? But this is the time to create. And then at the end, the final time of the day, the final segment of your day is the fourth C, which is connect. So connect with God, connect with nature, connect with people. Hyper important that you do that, because if you fall into this entrepreneurial online like myth of monk mode, you will lose your mind. And I'm not really ready to share too much of that background story with me, but like I've done that, right? I actually spent a full month at an Airbnb on the outskirts of Madrid last year. Did not have a good time, right? So it's not healthy for you. But that's the structure, and that's something that really served me, serves a lot of people I spoke to, and serves Dan Coe, and he's doing pretty well. So that is clear, consume, create, connect, in that order. That coupled with this dailies sheet, which again is going to be in the show notes, is one of the best structures and systems that you could have, I believe, to start your year off on the right foot. And I want you to have it. And yeah, if you enjoyed this content, appreciate you. Thank you. I am intentional on dropping more of this business/lifestyle sauce every single Wednesday on this podcast. And I have an Instagram where I help corporate people. Like I used to be a corporate background as well, to help them get remote and all different kinds of help in that fashion. So the best way you can support this show is to just leave a review and share with someone who you think could get value from it as well. So without further ado, thank you so much. And thank you for letting me do work I find meaningful. Peace. Happy New Year. Me cago en la puta.